All right. We are live and in effect. Once again, JV Wins is here. Dogon SS is here. Thank you to everyone who is following along with us on the Conscious Approach channel on YouTube. We certainly appreciate it. If you enjoy the commentary in this or any other video on this channel, do your boys a big old solid, hit that like button, and moreover, just let us know what you think about what we are talking about in the videos. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button if you're so inclined, all of that good stuff. Shouts out to the Hurricanes who
Yeah. Never fail to disappoint. That's what I'll tell you that. Cocaine. Yeah, laugh right now, bro. We play November 11th. We'll see you then.
Yeah. You guys got to stop it with these meltdowns during the season, man. I'm rooting for you whether you realize it or not, except for when you play Florida State. But I just had to get that little jab in there as we get things started. But with those pleasantries out of the way, thank you to everybody who is continuing to join the tribe. We certainly appreciate it. We'll go ahead and get things started this week. And friend of the channel, Jada Pinkett Smith.
That's right.
We have talked about her often, and she was very much so the topic of discussion over the last week. Her book, which is called Worthy, I think is the name of her book. So she's doing press. The book is out, and so she's doing all of her interviews and talking about it. And she did the first interview, I believe, with Hoda Cobb, who's like a daytime TV talk show host / journalist. And that's what has a lot of the people talking. The streets are doing a lot of talking when it comes to Jada Pinkett Smith because of some of the revelations that came out of this interview.
Boy.
Chiefly among them was the revelation that they haven't even really been together since 2016. So that kind of sheds some light on certain things that have come to pass over the course of recent history. But obviously we'll let her speak for herself. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing queued up here, and then we are going to, of course, give our thoughts on the ongoing saga that is the Smith family. And our channel isn't necessarily like one which gets into celebrity gossip. We more so use the content as a spotlight to give our thoughts on greater societal implications, or at least that's the idea. So I don't want anyone who is new to this channel to get this confused with Conscious Approach being about celebrity gossip. It's not, or at least we try for it not to be. I just wanted to put that out there just in case, So here we go. We're not going to play this entire thing. We're just going to play a couple of excerpts, but here are some of the highlights of that interview between Hoda Cobb and Jada Pinkett Smith, which of course gets into her marriage to Will Smith.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
Right.
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
But in
All right, so now I'm going to fast forward here a little bit. Okay, here we go.
I feel like you're a straight talker,
I am.
except you're not sometimes.
Yeah.
So why do that? Like, what was the reason?
I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us
Yeah.
how to be in partnership, right? And in regards to how do we present that to people, And we hadn't figured that out.
During our walk in Baltimore, Jada reflected on their breakup.
Why did the relationship fracture?
Oh, why it fractured? That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think by the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be.
Jada says she considered a legal divorce, but could never go through with it.
I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise.
Okay, that's enough.
What?
All right, so a lot of people are talking about this. A lot of people are kind of looking at her or looking at this as another example of how it is kind of dragging Will Smith's name through the mud, making him look bad, making him kind of look like a victim of abuse, so to speak. You know, another thing that came out of this, which was interesting, we didn't play it, you know, during this particular segment, is she mentioned how she was surprised when Will Smith went and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. She mentioned that she was surprised that he referred to her as his wife. You know, I guess she was thinking, wow, this dude actually on this public stage called me his wife when we ain't even been together for what at the time was 6 years. And he went up there and did that and put on that show and said, you know, keep my wife's name out your mouth. She was shocked that he did that and referred to her as his wife. But, you know, obviously there are several different directions that this can go. We've obviously lamented on this state of affairs in past videos here. But what do you make of the most recent comments made by Jada? Is she
Honestly,
an abuser, or you know, what do you make of this?
well, it's disgusting, and I think she's an abuser. I think this woman is on full blown narcissist mode. I mean, this is as self absorbed as you can get, you know. And I was joking last time we were doing this thing. I was like, "Girl, write a book if you feel like explaining all this stuff." Hey, man, and you was like, "Hey, bro, I think she is, you know, working on a book or something." And so for her to come out with a book, all right. But these press runs are equivalent to what I told her to stop doing and put it in a book. These press runs are just as damning, I'm pretty sure, as I know the book got more crap, you know, in it. Just slandering him, making him look like a cuck, a loser. I'm pretty sure, you know, it gets worse, I'm sure, between the pages, but the average person is not going to take their time out to read those pages, is my point. So, but one thing about it is when she's going on all these press runs and dragging his name through the mud, you know, publicly, you know, the most layman person, you know, the most illiterate person now knows their business. And I just think that this is just too much. I mean, I know she's promoting a book. It probably is going to be some bestseller. But, you know, with this garbage, the Tupac stuff, listen, bro, I've seen stuff where she's around here talking about something. Oh yeah, because you know Tupac had alopecia.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, yeah, Tupac's bald, but come on, we doing this? Like, who cares? And she's doing a lot of who cares talk. Nobody cares about this. We'll listen. We don't care. And the more we hear this stuff, we go, geez, Will, you know, what have you been going through all these years? But the crazy part about it is, I think Will somehow likes the humiliation. I think he likes this. You know, the average man is looking at this going, oh man, poor dude. You know, he's going, give me more pain. And no, bro, I seen some clip. I don't know if it was new or old. I should have put this up too. But he was saying some stuff like, I'm glad you got this stuff off your chest or whatever. And all this tells me is that 20 years ago, I should have hugged you harder. Yeah, this is where he at, bro. He love this. And then after that, she said, see, that's why I can't divorce his ass. Because he loves it. So this is a weird situation. It makes marriages and whole, I've seen a lot of women come to the defense of this garbage in the sense of defending Will. and telling Jada to shut her mouth. So I would have been concerned in any other time for people to be looking at this the wrong way and trying to out their situations and trying to embarrass their man. But I think a lot of people are disgusted with this. And the thing that got me the most is that a lot of women are disgusted by this. Nobody likes this stuff. And I think the only reason why it would be a bestseller is just so people could be nosy. But she's doing a hell of a job because it's going to sell. But what about you, man? How do you feel about all of this? Tupac, alopecia, her marrying Tupac while he in jail. You know, her allegedly saying, I don't know if you've seen that, her allegedly saying that Chris Rock was trying to tap that, you know.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So, you know, what do you make of all of this shenaniganry?
Yeah, she also said that Will Smith wanted to put hands on Tommy Davidson because Tommy Davidson asked her out on a date or something like that. So there's all kinds of ancillary stories that are coming out of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like basically it's just becoming a soap opera, and it's becoming
Mm-hmm.
like it's becoming made for TV or made for the internet type stuff. And you know, modern society is in the business of consuming content at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can feed the content machine, it really does feed back into the age-old adage of all publicity is good publicity. Just be talked about. And as long as you're being talked about, right or wrong, good or bad, ultimately it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's the wave that they're riding. And I think that both of them respectively kind of look at it at this point as a running joke. I don't think either of them care. I think Will is doing his part to contribute to the business of the promotion of the book. Both of them are so enthralled in Hollywood. I don't think either of them at this point care about any sort of negative backlash within the context of how this can look in terms of family and marriage and relationship dynamics. They're not concerned with that. We're well past that point, honestly. Maybe we were having that conversation when they did the Red Table Talk, and he was sitting up there answering questions about how he felt directly from her about her smashing her son's friend. Maybe we were at that point then, but I think at this point it's a production. I think at this point it's become a production. The thing with Jada is, you made this point on this channel previously, and I don't even know if we were talking about these two in particular. It may have been a related topic. I think it may have been Ime Udoka. I think that's what it was. We were talking about Ime Udoka and Nia Long, because that whole fallout was taking place. And I was making a point about patriarchy. And you were saying, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, men don't talk. So it's always going to be more of an environment that is conducive to a woman getting her side of the story out and being able to portray herself in whatever light she wants. Because by and large, when it comes to this type of thing, it's not really in a man's DNA to do this. Mm-hmm. So Will Smith, I doubt, is going to come out at any point with his own book in which he talks about his side of the story and his perspective when it comes to their marriage. This is something that's pretty much going to be a one-sided thing, because talking about sex lives and marriage and relationships and family, that's pretty much something that men don't do publicly for the most part. And so it creates an environment in which Jada Pinkett, by all intents and purposes, gets to run roughshod and tell her side of the story, because Will is never going to have a retort. I don't think. I don't see a scenario in which Will is going to write his own book and be like, here's how I feel about this, and this is what I was going through, and this is what was happening with me, which led to this, that, and the third. I think that this is just going to be a situation where Jada gets to tell Jada's story. And so long as Jada gets to tell Jada's story, Jada gets to benefit from whatever narrative she gets to create by way of how her relationship or family dynamic resulted when things are all said and done. And, in terms of Will, I just kind of look at Will Smith at this point as a victim of Stockholm syndrome. I was talking to my cousin a couple weeks ago, and, we were talking about two different people unrelated. And we were talking about how, there's this guy um, basically bending over backwards to bend the knee to this chick who he's with. And she's sort of being able to play psychological warfare with his mind. And by the way, this thing goes both ways. It's not just something that men can, this isn't just something that women can exact, men can exact it too. It just depends on who's in the position of power and who's in the position of subjugation.
Mhm.
But he was like, she's running roughshod on this guy psychologically, and she's going to be able to get away with it because for him, he looks at her as the best that he can do. Like for him, she's the pinnacle of what he can attain and achieve as a woman. So she just has this psychological upper hand because it's going to take a whole lot for him to feel as though he's reached his breaking point and is no longer willing to compromise on all the things that he has thus far been compromising on. And I kind of feel like in a roundabout way, and I could be wrong about this. This is just kind of my opinion, outside perspective looking in. I kind of feel like Will Smith was Stockholm into this. I feel like for whatever reason, he looked at Jada as like the pinnacle of attainment in terms of partnership, relationship, wife, woman. And I feel like in his mind, he felt as though he was hard pressed to find a suitable replacement. And so that coupled with what looks to me to be his apparent lack of self-esteem in this particular department for him personally combined to create this situation in which he was willing to compromise whatever morals or values he may have in lieu of trying to make her as happy as he can make her. But at the end of the day, and she alluded to it in that clip when she talked about wanting to let go of the idea of what the other person should be. If you are not already what this person perceives to be the best or the top, you know, she's going to be thinking about what her life can be like if she had that. And there's going to be little that you can do to create the impression in her mind that you are that if she didn't already feel that way about you. So you doing this constant thing where you're trying and trying and trying to no avail puts you in a position to in the future look like someone who was kind of ran over. And again, the fact that we are able to speculate in this manner this way on videos like this is due to the fact that Will is probably not going to come out with his side of the story. I would be surprised if he did. If he came out with a book of his own where he details how he feels about everything, I'd be shocked. Because for the most part, men just don't do stuff like that. Even men in Will Smith's position. So that's kind of what this looks like to me. I kind of feel like there's a lot of different things going on simultaneously. I feel like Jada is benefiting from the content factory that is modern culture. And she's also benefiting from the fact that when it comes to marriage and family dynamics, for the most part, publicly, women are the ones who disclose that kind of stuff for personal and financial gain more so than men do, for whatever reason. And since Will isn't going to come out with his own side of the story in a similar way, we're left to kind of give our 2 cents on what this looks like from an outsider's perspective. And I just kind of think that Will was Stockholm into this situation. And you know how Stockholm syndrome works. It isn't that you feel as though you're being abused. You don't. It's actually quite the opposite. You think that you're doing something for the greater good, when in actuality, there is a modicum of abuse that is taking place. But, when it comes to that Stockholm dynamic, the abusee takes on a lot of the ideologies and the sensibilities of the abuser. And you start to believe that you're doing the right thing, even though really you're being taken advantage of. That's just kind of how what it looks. That's what it looks like to me. I feel like Will spent a lot of time, an inordinate amount of time, trying to get her to act in a design manner. We mentioned that, or at least I mentioned that when we talked about Jonah Hill and this other woman. He tried to set boundaries. The woman wasn't receptive to his boundaries. And as a result of the relationship dissolving, she's trying to put him on blast as an abuser. And my point was, hey, Jonah Hill, you saw those kind of things when you were trying to get her to acquiesce to your boundaries. So you should have cut it off right then to save yourself the agony of having to go through this public cleanup job to try and make yourself look as though you're not an abuser, despite her claims. And I think Will spent a lot of time trying to get Jada to act in a design manner, for whatever reason. We can speculate on some of those reasons all we want, but I think it's a cautionary tale for other people in the world. Like, you know your worth, self-esteem, all of that cookie cutter mumbo jumbo that we don't necessarily need to get into. But moreover, like, you can set your boundaries, or at least you can attempt to. But when you know in your heart of hearts, when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't perceive you as an individual who can muster up, and instead of trying to fit that square peg into a round hole, just call a spade a spade, let bygones be bygones, and try to best position yourself to be perceived by another individual as that pinnacle. Because when you spend so much time trying to force the issue, you get books and tell-alls and Oscar slaps. So that's just kind of how I look at that one.
Yeah, I mean, I never looked at it in the angle of it. I mean, I did, but this episode here with this latest thing as like a full blown production, as you mentioned, him playing in his role, and most likely people going to go read the book or get the book or what have you, So looking at them playing this in tandem makes kind of some sense here, especially to drive up sales, because what else does she got popping? I mean, we've already covered the fact that she's not even really a good actress. She's like, nobody's hollering at her for roles or nothing. Her best bet is to be in some Tyler Perry movie or something at this point. So, but nobody wants to see her act. Nobody cares. And so she needs to be relevant somehow. And so she's using all of this as a way to be relevant, a way to distract, and a way to just, all this good stuff. So yeah, I appreciate that angle of them just being in this in cahoots. But mind you, I saw a video. It was hilarious, but I saw a video of her talking about talking about the slap, and she was like, I didn't even, at first I thought it was a skit. She said, first I thought it was a skit, and she was like, then when Will slapped her, I couldn't, from my angle, I couldn't even tell if he really slapped him. And but the video I saw was like a meme, and they had Pinky from Next Friday, and he was like, say it again, oh, hopping around all that crazy stuff. It was hilarious, but I'll send it to you. But the whole thing but I looked at that and I was like, now remember when we first covered this, I already had my full hat on then. I was like, man, it seemed fake. Chris Rock looking at the camera talking about one of the greatest nights in television history. What make you say that?
Yeah.
So I thought the whole thing was a production, but the backlash they received from all of this, I don't think they foresaw that. I didn't know what they thought they was going to get from this, but it was such backlash that I was like, maybe this stuff is real. I don't know what the hell's going on no more. And then for her to say that, I felt like that was a way of saying, in a way, like, maybe y'all was, skitting it up there. What are y'all doing? But now, not you mentioned, this is Hollywood. And they're doing stuff beyond the film now. They're bringing it into people's, everyday feeds, in their lives with these productions that are going on. And I think that there's something to this whole thing. It's something just wrong. It's off. The whole thing's off. And but yeah, I don't care for any of this. What she's saying. I think this is just bad for the culture. But the one thing that I said earlier that I still appreciate is that there's so many people calling this out for the garbage that it is. Like, nobody cares nor wants this. And we joked last time, we was like, hey man, they're gonna come out again with some other bull, and we're gonna cover it here at the approach. And then sure enough, here they are. But the streets have had enough. And I love it. So kudos to anybody out there watching, and kudos to anybody that clicked on this video that was tired of the shenanigans. We are too here at the Conscious Approach. Why don't you hit that like and subscribe while you're at it?
I think the last time we talked about it, which at this point had to be like 6-8 months ago, or something like that. I don't know. It's been a minute, but I even said back then she's currently in the process of writing a book. Don't be shocked if she's because she's gonna do press for it, and there's gonna be all these revelations and side stories, and there's gonna be more to come with this, and so it just reeks of a Hollywood production in a lot of ways. But I do think that it highlights the reason why I do think that there is some substance to it amidst the production part of it is because Will's not doing the same. So
Mhm.
Will ain't writing his book. You know, as far as I know, they're not getting a movie to go. There's nothing coming from his side of it. So it kind of seems like he is a willing participant, pawn even, in her elaborate orchestration in all of this.
Yeah.
And because he looks like a willing pawn, that speaks to me of someone who is sort of willfully or not going along with this thing when the truth could be he would rather not. And so I think that there's some part of this where we can peel back the layers and dissect what you can do as an individual if you're not built for stuff like this, to not find yourself in a situation where you are doing stuff like this. Because otherwise, I do agree that it is buffoonery. I think it's total buffoonery. And I'm glad that people are saying this is trash. The best thing that could happen to the culture, quote unquote, is if nobody goes out and buys her book. That's the best thing that
but
can
that ain't
happen.
happening.
Yeah, I know, but that would be most ideal is if no one went out and bought that book. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
crazy, man. Shouts out for the content anyway, though.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Friend of the channel, Sexyy Red. Last time we talked about Sexyy Red, we were discussing whether she is emasculating black men by bringing men onto stage, bound by leashes during her Rolling Loud set when she performed at Rolling Loud Miami. And now she was doing an interview with Funny Marco, funny guy, comedian, has his own show. Sexyy Red was on there, and they got on to the subject of cheating. And Sexyy Red was detailing why she is elite at being unfaithful.
Oh wow.
Anybody who is familiar with Sexyy Red's rhetoric, this should not come as a surprise that she speaks in this way. But nevertheless, Sexyy Red has the blueprint for how to cheat on your guy and how to be unfaithful. And
I heard.
Funny
Go
Marco
ahead.
was so inclined to get her to elaborate on said blueprint. What were you gonna say?
No, I just heard that her booty hole was brown.
Yeah, and there's something else that's pink too.
Allegedly not. From,
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't think it's very pink right now. But here we go, man. Here's Sexyy Red detailing to Funny Marco how to be unfaithful.
Unbelievable.
What are your cheating skills 1 through 10?
I'm elite.
Right.
I broke the scale.
Right. Can you give the women out there good ways to cheat if you don't mind looking at them?
Yes. Delete everything out your phone. Tell that nigga, all right, I'm around my man. Don't text me. And if he do, block him. He's not a honey. He trying to get you caught up.
Unbelievable.
So, are women faithful?
Ain't nobody faithful in the world. Right or wrong?
I believe women are faithful.
You met a faithful bitch?
Yeah. Actually.
You might thought she was faithful because I used to be playing that role too.
What's the role?
You just act innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I know some innocent bitches that be cheating, and I'm the type that could convince you to cheat on your nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he cheat on you, come outside with me, girl.
So cheating, it can be going on date. Okay, going on date.
Yeah, cheating can be anything.
Which one? What cheating are you going on date? Just texting, hanging out, or fucking?
All of it, love.
Oh damn!
I'll do whatever. It's what I want to do. Like, is you had your turn, so now it's my turn, right?
No, sometimes you can just relax.
You ain't always gotta fuck. It ain't about fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas take anything to heart. You can answer the phone for a nigga in front of a nigga. He gone. He want to kill himself.
So with both of the baby daddies, is our
Whoa. Sheesh.
All right. So all y'all out there, I hope y'all were listening. Those are some gems right there, if you want to look at it that way. I'm gonna just let you go ahead, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, listen. This is something that I was already aware of. This is not a surprise. I guess the one thing that I got from that conversation was just confirmation on my many conspiracy theories that I have. Listen, man, because this is kind of like what we was talking about like a little bit earlier. Like, guys are going to keep it solid on the side dude part for the most part. They're not going to say anything. They'll be like, oh, hey, what you want me to do? He'll hit her up one time, whoop-de-whoop. Hey, bro. Just like how she said, hey, bro, not now. Or she don't answer at all. Then she'll finally hit you up and be like, hey, bro, I was wrong, bro. And you go, oh, snap. Hey, what's the quota? Once every 2 weeks? Once a month? Twice a year? Guys are signing up for any of that. And because his whole thing is, hey, he just chilling. And so whenever she hit him up, it's like, oh, snap. He's not going to not jump at that. And there's a lot of that going on. So to sit around and think that, there's females out here that aren't doing that, it's crazy because I know enough guys that did it, myself included. So being somebody that was like, oh, what's the interval here? What's the interval? So sometimes it was like, hey, it's on and popping for 2 weeks and then gone. And then hey, then she coming back or 3 months later. I don't know what the hell happened. I'm not asking questions. So then that's the whole thing of the guy that's decided to, he'd be surprised too. It was one time I give you a background story, whatever. I'm at some chick house or whatever. I'm thinking this like whatever. I'm always over there. She's always at my house, so I ain't thinking nothing of it. But I guess I caught her in an interval. I don't know. So I'm at her house sleeping. We're on the couch. You know what I'm saying? After recreations. And so yeah, we're on the couch. I'm asleep. It's like 4 a.m. I hear, I see, I hear 1 1 1 1. I get up. I see, lights outside. 1 1 1. She acting like she's asleep. She ain't even move. 1 1 1. I ain't gonna say her name. Bloop, get out here. I know you in there. Who called it? My car parked outside. At this point, I don't know. I ain't got nothing on me. I don't know if bro gonna bust in with the craziness. I'm just whatever. So anyway, fast forward. Anyway, next morning, after more recreations, I said, hey man, what the hell was going on last night? And then she was like, what? She act like she ain't hear nothing. Moral of this story is this is going on throughout. And I've just been a other person on the other side of, I ain't gonna say nothing because, well, I ain't got nobody to tell. So there's plenty of dudes willing to sign up for that. And with that alone is enough for some girl to have some secret dude in her phone. So it don't have to be a new person. See, most people get it misconstrued. Women only add bodies to their count when they're trying to find a new person to be in the rotation. They don't like just giving it out. Now, there's some girls just give it out, but other girls, they give up the get a body just so they can have somebody in rotation later. And if you one of the people that can be in rotation because you chill enough, you don't blow up the spot enough, you don't do all, then you in the rotation. So there's a lot of that happening. And so some girls never give up their rotation once they find somebody they're actually interested in. Hence the reason why they air quote cheat and all this other stuff and, whoop-de-whoops, have inappropriate conversations and then know to delete them afterwards. So this is not anything new. Women do it. I've been on the other side to benefit from it. So I already know that this is part of the rhetoric and, how the behaviors go. So for Sexyy Red, one of the, avengers of whoredom to actually sit there and divulge this, I'll just take that as confirmation of some things that I've already had, trails on. So how about you, man? How do you feel about this situation? Do you believe her that even the sweet ones, the innocent ones, could be giving up the box and deleting messages in their phone?
This made me sad. So There's one particular part of that I'm going to key on.
Okay.
The part that I'm going to key in on is, so he said, describe your cheating skills or some shit like that. She was like, "Oh, I'm elite." Yeah, she said, "I'm elite," right? So she said she's an elite cheater.
Yeah.
And funny Marco's like, so basically, I forget what he said, but then her response to that was, everybody's unfaithful. And so that's the part that made me sad, because when I'm watching that, what I am reading into based on that is, I do what I do and I'm elite at cheating and I'm unfaithful because that's the way the world is. Everyone is unfaithful. So there's no moral quandary to consider here. That's just how the world is. Everyone's out here being unfaithful. So why am I going to not do that? That's how the world works. That's what's normal, is being unfaithful. That's normal. And so, the thing with me is, like, we've mentioned several other topics when it comes to this whole relationship madness situation. And one of the things that I've talked about previously is women who get on their high horse trying to paint men with a broad brush, suggesting that all men are this way and that is why I do what I do, or that's why I'm this way. In other words, all dudes cheat or all dudes do this or that regardless. So that's why I'm going to do what I do. That's why I'm going to date masculine, have my minute rotation, so on and so forth. And the response that I have always had to that is that is not necessarily true. That might be a truth for you, but it's an incomplete truth overall, because it isn't that all men, or women for that matter, if you're a guy who ascribes to this notion, it isn't that all men or all women do this. It's that it's just the ones you want who do this kind of stuff, honestly. So for a lot of these women out here who develop this myopathy with respect to men, feeling like all men do this, that, or the third, it isn't necessarily that it's every man out here doing this. It's just, it's the men you want doing it. So you have to sort of, at some point, take inventory of your life, sit down and reflect and decide, what are some of the things that I am doing that is contributing to this being my plight in life? Now, it reminds me of, and I'm gonna go galaxy brain real quick, but it'll all make sense. So I've mentioned the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, before. It was a book that was written in the 50s, I think, by Stephen Covey. And the overarching tenet of the book is the idea of paradigm shifts. And so one of the reasons why that book changed my life is because it helped to teach me that trauma does not absolve one from being able to change the way that they behave and think about certain situations so that they can attain a desired outcome. So it doesn't matter what traumas you've been involved in or have experienced throughout your life. It doesn't have to define you. And mind you, people hear the word trauma and they kind of get triggered. I don't mean super traumatic events like you were abused or you were in a car accident or somebody died or something like that. A trauma or a traumatic event can be something as simple as people were making fun of you as a kid for being overweight, or maybe you didn't have the coolest shoes in school, and so kids made fun of you for not having Jordans on. Anything that sticks in your brain and alters the way that you behave with certain things into the future can be defined as a form of trauma. So when I use the word trauma, what I'm saying is you do not have to be defined by your traumas. If you can have the wherewithal to understand what your traumas are, and furthermore, and more importantly, you genuinely do actually want to get the outcome that you seek, then you have the power to shift your paradigm so that you no longer have to be beholden to those traumas. So why do I bring this book up with respect to paradigm shifts when I'm thinking about these, when I'm looking at this Sexyy Red comment? Sexyy Red is saying everyone is unfaithful. Hence, I am implicitly giving myself permission to do these things because everyone is unfaithful. Now, when I hear that, what I take from that is I would not be doing this if everyone was not unfaithful. That's what I take from that. Now, perhaps that's not true and she's lying. And maybe she'd still be doing this shit even if everybody was faithful. You never know. But from those comments that she made, what I'm taking from that is I wouldn't be out here scheming and scamming if the world was more faithful. That's what I'm taking from that. And what I respond to is I feel as though she is speaking through her traumas with that. She probably grew up in an environment where that was that was the play. The play was men cheat, women cheat, everyone's unfaithful, everyone's doing their thing. It's 2023 now, so it's more socially acceptable for women to be masculine when it comes to dating or when it comes to just how you treat sex and the opposite sex, regardless. So now I'm just going to do whatever I want because y'all been doing the same thing too. So I feel as though she is speaking through her trauma. And her trauma is this is what my environment was, and this is what I was going through. So now I'm going to do the same thing. But what I would say to people like maybe not Sexyy Red, because she seems to be enjoying this.
Exactly.
She seems to be enjoying this. But there's other people in the world who are not cut from the Sexyy Red cloth, but they still have that same sense of myopathy. They still have that. And so to those individuals, I suggest that perhaps taking inventory of yourself and trying to undergo a paradigm shift to switch the way that you look at people so that you do not have to be beholden to that trauma is something that can help get you out of that hamster wheel and get you to stop thinking that the world is just full of liars and cheaters and people who are unfaithful, because that's not everybody. That's just the people who you seem to be gravitating towards. So it kind of opens up a whole can of worms with respect to who are the kind of guys you give your attention to. Because if you're giving your attention to, or if you find yourself drawing attention from a certain type of man, or in the case of a man, if you find yourself more attracted to a certain kind of chick, or if you find yourself getting the attention of a certain kind of chick, and you find yourself in these kinds of situation, it is perhaps incumbent upon you to sit down and think about why it is that you like this kind of energy, or why you are attracting this kind of energy. Now, if you really don't care and you want to keep doing what you're doing, then there's no point in taking said inventory to try and undergo a paradigm shift. But also at the same time, if you don't care, don't pay lip service to the idea that you do. And you got a lot of people out here who are posers, who pay lip service to, who romanticize the idea that they would be this way if the world wasn't so like this. When in actuality, and I think this is the case with Sexyy Red, she'd still be doing that even if the world was rainbows and unicorns. But there's a lot of people who pay lip service to the idea that if the world was rainbows and unicorns, I wouldn't be a man eater or a woman eater. I'd be better. I'd do better. And the thing is, maybe the world isn't completely rainbows and unicorns, but you can adjust your paradigm enough to try and attract a different kind of energy, to give yourself a different perspective. I truly do believe that. And maybe this is me being Mr. Positive here in this instance.
Hey.
But I truly do believe that. And I say this from personal experience. Like you personalized it before, I can personalize it myself.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, because of my experience, I have met a whole gang of women throughout my life that I have never had to think about whether they scamming on me or not. And I'm serious. I mean that. I have. Like I'm not making that up. I wish I'm not like I'm really not making that up. But all of those situations, they did not work out because I know I was making the decision to forego those opportunities in lieu of continuing to be out in the streets. So that's on me. I cannot therefore turn around and have this idea in my head that I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing because the world and everyone's unfaithful. No, that was a personal choice that I made to continue to be in the streets. But I've had enough experience with women who are not like that to know the world is more rainbows and unicorns than some of us care to realize. So you got to do an inventory on the kind of energy that you are attracting and the kind of energy that you're giving off. If you can say in your heart of hearts that you really do want to be in a space where there's more rainbows and unicorns going on, then you can undergo enough of a paradigm shift to switch your energy up and attract a different kind of energy that can have you looking at the world slightly differently. Now, again, the world isn't complete rainbows and unicorns. There's still man eaters, there's still woman eaters, there's still scammers. There are, absolutely. But for her to make that blanket generalization that everyone is unfaithful, to me, that is her speaking through her traumas, in my opinion. Um, but she's also somebody who doesn't necessarily care. She's going to keep doing what she does anyway. And there's enough of those people to go around as well. But ultimately, I just kind of think that there's a lot of people out here who didn't go through what she went through, whatever it is that she went through, who still think that way and believe those things. And to those people, I would say you can adjust some of your thinking and behaviors to really test out whether you can attract a different enough kind of energy to not think that way and to not be a part of that. If you really do want to not be a part of that and you're not merely just paying lip service to the idea that you want to be a part of that.
Hey man, that's one thing I did learn from you is that's not my reality, wasn't everybody's reality. Because when I'm sitting there venting to you like, man, scandalous, and you like, hey, that I didn't go through that. Like, you didn't go through that. You weren't looking hard enough. You like, no, I didn't go through that. I don't know what you're talking. You know, Tyrone's not knocking at my girl's door when I'm around there chilling with her. You know. So hey man, you know, I agree with that. I also think I think where you're at though is the minority.
Yeah, probably.
And I think the majority of people are full of sharp, and the majority of people are undeveloped. Now that don't have nothing to do with who you attract. Are you attracting right? So are you attracting undeveloped? You know, whatever. Yes, I attract everything. So I attract what I'm. So put it like this. So if you know, on a scale of what you can attract, right? So if once you hit a certain tier, it's a lot of stuff to fit in your bucket, you know. And so when there's a lot of stuff that fit in your bucket, you know, my thing was, you know, when I was just out here young and I was just trying to have fun. If I stumbled into a relationship, that's when I was like, all right, whatever. But the problem is I was having fun first and then got attached to somebody that you just have fun with.
Mm-hmm.
And then turn a relationship, you know. So that was my thing. I wasn't, you know, properly courting, I suppose.
Pseudo. I call those pseudo relationships.
I've
had my fair share of those as well.
Well, see, there you go. So mine was just lasting 3-4 years. So I thought it meant something. But it was just like, nah, it was just a whole bunch of shenanigans and trauma, right? So hey, shout out to, you know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to that. But seriously though, so yeah, man, I agree with that. I hear what you're saying on that. It makes a lot of sense. All I know is that the overwhelming majority of people that I, you know, encounter, you know, they've got stories of infidelity. You know, they got stories of infidelity, you know, the wife got bored. You know, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. Some stuff you just can't, you know, she can be solid for whatever long, but you know, something happens and then she had to delete that message. Then some creep from her job or some whatever person, you know, getting a little too close and now they DMing each other on some app, you know, just to carry on a conversation from work. But my husband's not going to understand. And she's sitting here doing all this other stuff. And then it grows into something else. She didn't, you know, all this stuff. People just be doing stuff. So my logic was, hey, look, man, this is a cold world, bro. You know what I'm saying? No blanket. So I said, what can be my blanket, my solace in this world full of vampiric people, right? So what I told myself is what I tell everybody, bro, especially if there's people in this new age just hooking up, living life, because there's a lot of people, male and female. Y'all know who y'all are. So while y'all out here doing that, just admit y'all poly and stop getting mad when the next person cheated, because y'all don't really care. But there is a care there. it's some ego there that gets bruised up, and then, you know, all this other stuff. So my whole thing is, and this is my galaxy brain real quick, that this whole third dimension, this place that we living in, is all an illusion, in the sense of it's all ego, it's all worldly. And so part of your existence down here is that ego and that pride and all that other stuff. And all of this stuff being around you being a trap, so is that ego and that pride. And one thing that these people that's cheating on you and all this other stuff, and that little thing in you that gets bruised and hurt and all that other stuff, that's a trap. And you're going through, me personally, I felt like I was going through these things so I can drop that part of myself that feels like I own another person. The part of myself that feels like I gotta retaliate or feel some type of way that somebody else can't control their body or control their mind. So one thing that I did give myself was the peace of mind to know that if somebody were to wrong me in that capacity, that it won't hurt me in that capacity that it used to. So I felt like I was going through all of these trauma things to learn a lesson in how to control my ego. Now, I hear what you're saying from your perspective, and I'm with that too, because trust me, brother, I'm trying to clean up the act. And so as that happens, so will the reflection, right? So yeah, I hear that, but that was how I view things. And I just tell everybody out there, man, just drop it, man. Who cares? I look at it like high fives. I look at it like working out, playing one-on-one basketball, you know, personal trainer. Hey, y'all just working out. Because honestly, there's sometimes after you done busted a nut and you go, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
You know, well, that's it. That's what I'll be mad that she went and did. I don't give a shit. She was just exercising. Like, well, that's all that was. And she just exercised with another person. So I'm like, man, I don't care. So I had to really rewire my brain. Now, some people might say that's sort of whoop, but I had to tell myself, and this is just beyond cheating. This is with everything that the ego gets bruised with. Work with that. And that's why I always say not be too high, not be too low, and keep it calm, keep it chill. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing that this matrix will do is try to get you off your pivot. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, this is a, I didn't know this topic was gonna get so roundaboutish, but yeah. Shout out to Sexyy Red bringing out the philosophy and the
like one thing that I do respect about Sexyy Red, even though I still think she is speaking through her traumas, is she is unapologetic about the fact that this is what she's going to be doing. And I do feel as though if the world was a more enlightened, better place, she'd still be doing it. But I can respect that because she at least knows who she is. What I don't like, and you alluded to this with people who want to get mad over all of this kind of stuff, is those to me are the people who are messing the game up because they want to, they know deep down inside that they want to be for the streets. But it sounds good to say you don't want to be for the street. And those are the people who are part, like, y'all are part of the problem. Excuse me, men and women who do this. Like, and you and I both know people personally who have done this and probably still do this. It's like, don't come to me talking to me about how you're down for this relationship life when you're not. You're not. You want to make yourself seem redeemable by telling me I'm not God. Bro, you don't gotta confide in me. Like, I'm not your Lord and Savior. I'm not God. You don't have to answer to me when this whole thing is said and done. So I'm not judging you if you want to be out here in the streets. I don't care. So you don't have to convince me that you're really about this relationship life, but the world is so corrupt that you're forced by default to be of the world. Like, no, you just want to be of the world. And listen, that's okay. But people need to be more honest with who they are. And for those individuals who really do envision themselves being better, like, understand that you don't have to continue with this whole idea in your mind that you're doing this because this is the way the world is and you have no choice. No, you can shift your paradigm and do things differently. A lot of y'all ladies out there, you know the kind of guys you're into, and you gravitate towards those dudes. Those dudes are pretty much the same at all times. And when you are disappointed because those guys do certain things to affirm that to you, you then want to talk about how all men are like this. No, it's just the men you like. So if you really care about doing things differently, try to readjust your programming to attract a different kind of guy. Now, of course, that's easier said than done, and it's very hard to unravel the multiple layers of psychosis that have contributed over time to us thinking the way that we think about certain things. But honestly, that's what it takes. Lest you want to continue to just kind of live this kind of life for the rest of your life, for the rest of the foreseeable future, you definitely don't want to waste your prime years doing this stuff. So if it's something that you really care about, hey, maybe you don't have to always go for the guys who look like this or talk like this or dress like that, especially if you notice that each of those situations is resulting in an undesired outcome. So shift things and do it differently. Try it out and see what happens. Maybe you'll learn that the world isn't as bleak as you think it is, and vice versa with men who think the same way as well. And by the way, when I speak about these paradigm shifts and all of this kind of stuff, I'm not sitting up here engaging in righteous indignation, suggesting that everyone needs to be on that monogamy faithful stuff. I'm just moreover saying people need to be honest with where they are in life and who they are, myself included. Like, I'm still a single guy myself, and I pay lip service to the idea of what I want to do ultimately in the long run, but I also know who I am and where I am. And furthermore, I communicate that to everyone who I come into contact with so that everyone can maintain the right expectations. And then at some point in the future, when I do decide that I've run up on a situation that I do want to explore further, I retain the option to do so. So I'm not sitting around here being this pious person trying to get into monogamy or serious relationships all the time. Not that I'm besmirching that, but people need to be more honest with who they are. And the biggest problem with this particular dialogue is people are not honest. So as much as I detest Sexyy Red's rhetoric, she's at least honest. But you have a lot of people in the world who think like her, but then say, "Oh, I want to do the right thing." Well, if you really want to do the right thing, whatever the right thing means to you, shift your paradigm and try to attract a different kind of energy and put a different kind of energy out into the universe. And maybe you'll get the results that you're looking for. But if you keep doing the same thing but expecting a different result, you're going to continue to fuel your insanity. And you'll have people like me looking at you like an insane person. And trust me, you don't want that. So, that's pretty much how I look at this whole thing. A lot of posers, a lot of fakers, people out here just not being honest with themselves. Don't run around thinking that everyone is unfaithful. That is a dangerous mentality to maintain. That is not true. But what it does demonstrate is how your traumas are controlling you and controlling your decision making. And if you can shift that, you can ultimately discover maybe the world isn't as bleak as I always thought it was. Maybe everyone ain't out here trying to scheme on me. Maybe every chick isn't out here trying to run game on me. Because it's true, man. Not every chick is out here trying to run game on you. And, conversely, not every dude is out here trying to run game on every female either. But hey, if you put out a certain kind of energy and you attract a certain kind of thing, trust me, you'll continue to get the same result.
Nah, hey, word. And I agree with you. One thing that Sexyy Red does is she keeps it 100. And I like my hoes like that, man. I like my hoes telling me that they hoes.
Yes.
That's the best way to live.
Yes.
It's the covert hoes that I can't stand.
Absolutely. That is one thou wow, bro. It's the ones who are lurking in the shadows who are messing it up.
Right.
Give me people who tell me to my face, give me people who tell me to my face, I'm a slore, I'm a hoe, I do this, I do that. Be honest with it. Yeah. I respect that more than the people in the world. I'm a guy, so I'll speak from a man's perspective. I respect that more than the women who put lipstick on a pig. And you are a hoe and you have hoe tendencies, but you are trying to convince me that you're just
with hoe energy to do what you do and blue who you blue. And shout out to Ludacris, man. That song go crazy. Why you think you take a hoe to a hotel? Hotel everybody, even the mayor.
Reach into the sky for the ozone layer. Oh gosh, shouts out to Sexyy Red, man. Appreciate the content, yo. Friend of the channel, indeed, yo. I appreciate that.
You crazy.
All right, we're going to talk about the NBA here. Obviously, fans of the NBA, today is October 17th. The NBA actually kicks off regular season 1 week from today, October 24th. Is that a week from? That's a week from today, right? The 24th. So that's when the league kicks off. We haven't really touched on this, and I've been interested to get your thoughts on this because I haven't. You and I personally have not talked about this yet, but the league is trying to push its star players to play more and rest less. So they have gotten this whole new penalty. They're making it punitive for star players to rest who aren't injured. And so there's fines for star players who sit out games and they're not injured. I forget the monetary amount. And they're trying to push an 82 game mindset. They've also added stipulations to awards. So now I believe you cannot win the NBA MVP award if you played less than 65 games. And there's all sorts of contingencies attached to all NBA, first team, second team, third team, all NBA defense, all of these awards, rookie of the year, and all of this kind of stuff. You can't get any of this stuff. You are disqualified if you do not play the requisite amount of games. So this is the NBA's attempt to try and curb what I believe is a cultural problem in this league with players sitting games out. So to provide a little bit of context real quick, this is from ESPN. It says NBA pushing 82 game mindset to players ahead of regular season. NBA Executive Vice President and Head of Basketball Operations Joe Dumars said the league has communicated to its players and teams that we are really emphasizing that this is an 82 game season and that the league has data indicating player rest doesn't necessarily translate to players being healthier. I think it was a given conclusion that the data showed that you had to rest players a certain amount, and that justified guys sitting out, Dumars said Wednesday during a conference call with national media. We've gotten more data, and it just doesn't show that sitting guys out correlates with lack of injuries or fatigue or anything like that. What it does show is guys may not be as efficient on the second night of a back-to-back. But in terms of injury and things like that, that we thought that it did prior, as we got more data, we realized that's not really holding up. Dumars' comments come as the NBA is trying to increase participation among its top players heading into this season, and also as the league is beginning the process of negotiating its new national broadcast rights deal with the current one contract to expire after the 2024-25 campaign. The NBA's new player participation policy, which ties players winning the league's MVP award and other top individual honors to competing in at least 65 games, includes a fine system for teams that intentionally rest players without any injury issues. The new policy stems from an ongoing trend over the past several years, wherein teams have placed a greater emphasis on resting players in an attempt to avoid injuries, particularly when it comes to playing games on back-to-back nights. So that pretty much gives you a background on what we're dealing with here. I'm interested to hear your thoughts about this because I don't think you and I have discussed this new policy thing that the NBA is trying to implement to get these guys to play more games. I am personally, I have gone on the record. In my opinion, I don't think that the rest thing has much to do with injury at all. I think that it was a cultural thing going on with the league where it became a vogue statement for guys to rest and not play games, which infuriates me as a fan. I don't think it had much to do with injury. Certain people, maybe you can make the claim that it did have something to do with injury, but I think league wide it had less to do with injury and it just had more to do with this is what we want to do because we feel like it. And they're the star, and so they get whatever they want, and we're beholden to the star, so you just got to deal with it. But what do you make of this this resting policy and this 82 game mindset that the league is trying to impress upon its players?
I don't think it's going to work. Oh, I mean, it's a step in the right direction, I would say. They had to do something because it has been getting out of control. And I never really heard it put that way, but yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Like it was basically in vogue to do that because it was only the star guys really, And it was like, man, I got clout. I'm me. I don't have to play this back to back. Or if it's 2 stars like the Clippers, then they was just playing games. Hey, Paul, you start. Okay, Paul, you sit. Kawhi, you start. Now, I play DFS, y'all. So that for the people that don't know, that's daily fantasy. So, I play fantasy with these guys, and it's always a pain because is so and so gonna sit? He's been questionable all week. Is he gonna play finally? What's wrong with him? Really, his finger? You know what I'm saying? And then you look back in the day, those guys were playing through that stuff. But, with passing time, man, I'm sorry, dude. Like, the struggle wasn't hard for these people. It wasn't the people that was playing in the 80s and 90s. Like, they grew up different. They had to struggle for stuff. It wasn't microwave. And look, man, I had to grow up to see it, man. But our generation was entitled as hell, and the ones that came after us were worse. And that's how I can sit there and go, hey, man, pick up. What are you doing? I'm sitting there, hey, you young people, but I'm like, wait, hold on. This is the same stuff that older people was telling us, and it's like, yeah, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Stuff started to fall off, and it's because times got easier, if you will. Then since times got easier, entitlement went through the roof, man. And so the most diva athletes out there are NBA players.
Yeah.
And it's sad, and it makes the league look soft. And when I was a kid, I used to always look in the back of cards. I love looking at stats. Like, it was just, I don't know what it was. I would look at it all day. And just that, oh, look at this guy. Oh, wow, 15 rebounds a game. I'm losing my mind at a card. But all the time I'm sitting there looking at it, it's 82 games, 79 games, 80 games. These guys are playing full seasons. And, but when I was doing that, I was still a kid. So this is what, 95, 96. So people were still playing 80 games still. You look at Patrick Ewing stuff. Mr. Bad Knees. If he played in this generation, he wouldn't play at all. Patrick Ewing was bone on bone mid-career with those knees. And he still played 82 games. So these guys go, wait a second. I'm not feeling like Zion today. No, I'm healthy. What do you mean you're healthy? Yeah, I'm healthy. Just don't feel like Zion today when I woke up. I'm not suiting up for this. So the last part I'll say before I let you go is, how will the league regulate this? Outside of a dumbass statement like Zion said of, yeah, I'm clean, but I just don't want to play. How can they regulate somebody's soft tissue injury? And so somebody say that, oh man, hamstring, they can gimp all they want. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's tender. They can gimp all they want. I can't run, coach. So he gonna sit on that back-to-back because it was a tough game. He played 35 minutes, So they gonna play with this crap. That's why I said I don't really think it's gonna do much, but it is a step in the right direction to just shine a light on, hey guys, people are tired of this crap. I mean, you watch a primetime game and no stars are playing. It's ridiculous, bro. So I'm pretty sure the league has had enough of its ratings probably taking a dip because people want to see Steph Curry shoot from half court. And if he's not playing because it's a back-to-back, that's trash. So how do you feel about this, man? Do you feel like the league is making a step in the right direction at least, or do you think this is actually going to work?
I'm hoping it works. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it works. So I'm holding out hope here. Mm-hmm. This is the positivity stream for JV Wins tonight. I'm hoping it works because so there's two things that have contributed to the erosion of my fanhood of the NBA. Mm-hmm. The resting players thing, and then this whole I want to go play for this team thing, where guys are just like saying, send me to this team because that's where I want to play. Even though you player signed a contract. Before I get into what I'm gonna say real quick with that contract thing, like because Damian Lillard, right? And I have a vested interest. I had, as a Miami Heat fan, I had a vested interest in how the Damian Lillard scenario was going to turn out because he wanted to come play for Miami, and my team is the Heat. So I had a vested interest in how that turned out. But I was experiencing cognitive dissonance because I hate it when these dudes make these demands to go to a specific team. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why it drives me crazy is because the media is so chicken shit. The sports media is to these superstar NBA players the way that the music journalism industry is to these trash rappers out here. The way I'll be talking about how there's no accountability when it comes to the way that we rate the music and how that's contributing to the music being trash. The media does that with these players because what I kept hearing on these shows all the time is Portland needs to do right by Damian Lillard and send him to the Heat. No, the hell they don't. Like,
Right.
I'm a Damian Lillard fan, and I want him to play for the Heat. But this idea that they need to do right by him and send him to the Heat, even if it's going to get them garbage in trade value in return, is ridiculous. They're paying you $100 and something million to play basketball. What is it that they're not doing right by you on? Explain that to me. Explain it. You're earning generational wealth. You signed a contract that is paying you like $60-70 million per season. What is it that they're not doing right by you on? That you're still saying they need to do right by him and not only pay him all this money, but send him to the team that he wants to go to. He didn't have to sign that contract. He's not a free agent. He's under contract. So that drives me crazy. The other thing that drives me crazy is the whole resting thing. And I never bought into this idea that resting, stops guys from getting injured or it decreases the frequency of injury. I've always thought that was BS. And shouts out to Richard Jefferson because he talks about this from time to time on that show that he does on ESPN. He mentioned this before. Like, these dudes are sitting out all of these games. First of all, the league started the NBA season a whole week earlier than they used to so that they can stretch the 82 game season out to limit the amount of back-to-backs that every team plays. So the whole back-to-back thing, even though you still play a few back-to-backs per year, every team is playing a very limited amount of back-to-backs throughout the season, period. So the whole back-to-back thing no longer even washes because you're not even playing that many back-to-backs to begin with anymore, not like the way it used to be. Back when the league started during the week of Halloween, now the league starts a whole week earlier so that they can stretch it out. So y'all ain't even playing that many back-to-backs. So that is out of here. I don't want to hear that. And then another thing that Richard Jefferson mentions is these dudes got massage trainers, hyperbolic chambers.
Come on,
They got ice bath chambers. They got all of these different resources. They got the nutritionists. They got the stretchy stuff. They got all of these super fancy doctors and personnel who are working for the team. So the organization hires these people. They have these individuals on retainer. They pay these people a paycheck to wait on these guys hand and foot with constant around the clock deep tissue massage treatments, superficial massage treatments. They got the hyperbaric chambers. They got all of this kind of stuff at their disposal resource-wise to prolong, to limit the amount of injury, to limit the occurrence of injury, and to keep their bodies strong and good throughout the duration of the regular season. And you want to tell me that despite all of these resources that these teams are paying for, y'all still need to sit out these games to reduce injury? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. So the whole thing to me has always been BS. To me, I started liking NFL and college football more than the NBA because it became apparent to me that these guys were sitting out games because they felt like it. It had nothing to do with injury. It was just because they could and they felt like it. And they weren't going to be held accountable because these pansies in the media were going to defend them for it because the superstars moved the needle. So they should be able to sit out games because we need them rested for the playoffs. So what the hell are y'all doing every day with these resources available to you, to make you more pliable, to make you stronger, to make your body more capable of withstanding an 82 game season. What are these organizations paying for if y'all are still sitting games out? I don't understand it. So I've always thought that it was BS. I hope that it works. Will it work? I don't know. I hope that it works. I hope that you're wrong, and I hope that it works. Some people who just have chronic injury issues, yeah, you kind of have to, you kind of got to help them out. People like Kawhi Leonard, the guy just seems to crack his knee every year. I don't know what the guy has going on. He's got some kind of degenerative knee issue. I don't know what his deal is, but the guy seems to just mess his knee up every single year.
Yeah.
So people like that, you kind of have to help along and do the best you can and not sign them to a big ass contract that hamstrings your franchise. But that's a conversation for another day.
Thank you.
But most of these people, you can play. And you have all of these resources available to you. Play the game and stop sticking it to the fans. It really does rub me the wrong way that we have gotten to this point. And I'm not saying that you need to do everything. I'm not okay. Like if you have if you have a meniscus situation, or you got a lower back injury, and you got back spasms, you don't need to be playing in the game just to appease fans. So I'm not trying to say that everything needs to run because of what the fans want. I'm not trying to say that. Fans don't need to run everything. So I get that. But at the same time, there's this complete disregard for fans that I'm also uncomfortable with. Like if you know that you can go, but you are just choosing to sit out because you feel like it, and you know that you're not going to play in this city again until at least the next whole season, have some integrity and get out on the court and play. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember in 2006, I went to a Heat game when the Lakers came. Kobe's my all-time favorite player. Kobe had the flu, and he played the game. I appreciated that because that's the one and only time I ever got to see the guy play. I never got to see him play other than that one game. I'll never forget that. He scored like 18 points in the game. He clearly wasn't himself. He probably should have sat out, but he was here for one game out of those 82. Who knows if he was going to be back here again the following year? No one knew. So he played the game even though he had the flu. I respect the hell out of that. And that kind of thing seems to be in short supply these days because these guys are just coming from this entitlement AAU generation. And now you throw things like NIL into the mix where now they're coming into money even earlier, entitled even sooner. And now they really have a complete and utter lack of regard for having integrity with respect to playing in the games. And it's contributing to the erosion of the NBA, in my opinion. It's making it worse. So, I'm hoping that it works. The jury's out. We'll see, but I'm hoping that it works. And at the very least, even if it doesn't work, the fact that they're making it punitive. So, okay, fine, bro. You want to be Mr. Cool Guy and sit out games? Go for it. Be my guest. But you think you're going to win these awards and get these bonus checks and get these MVPs? No, you ain't going to get that. So you ain't finna be sitting out all of these games and you still eligible for these awards. So at the very least, even if it doesn't work, the fact that they're making those games punitive from an awards and accolade standpoint is a reconciliation that I can live with.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do because some of these dudes shouldn't even be all NBA. Some of these dudes by all-star break shouldn't even be all-stars. But they're gonna want their all-stars in their all-star game, so they're gonna do whatever for that. But
they all-star checks.
Yeah. But that all NBA stuff, I be mad sometimes. I think they already kind of had a criteria, but they need to up it. They need to up it because some people don't need to be on there. And but yeah, dude, you're 1000% correct. Again, I'm playing daily fantasy, man, and some of these dudes are out for the illness. That's like, what you got, bro? I know it ain't COVID. What you got, bro? You know what I'm saying? He's sitting out for 2 games and whoop-de-whoop when he back out there. And it's like, and some of these guys come back from these injuries ready to go. They just running. And I'm like, were you even hurt, bro? You know what I'm saying? Or how long have you been feeling this good? Because you're running like a mug right now. So why did you sit out those extra weeks or whatever? So I completely understand sprained ankles, knees, like you said, back. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like I get those things that slow down basketball players. Those are very common for basketball players. But these hamstring injuries, illness, I be hearing some crazy stuff. Eye infection. I'm like, what is eye infection? We're doing this stuff?
Bro, it's so egregious with the resting. They didn't even have to give a reason. It was just DNP rest.
You will see that. Yeah, now
it was just rest.
that was like, what the hell is this? Oh yeah, he's just resting. So one thing I do appreciate about LeBron, he play. That boy gonna play. He just started load managing, more towards the tail end of his career, but he's still gonna play, man. He's gonna be out there if he can.
Right.
So I respect him for that. But yeah, man, this new age stuff, bro, I don't drive with it. So yeah, hopefully this is a step in the right direction. But I think this will only impact those people that want to be, all NBA, all that other stuff. But you're still going to see your shenanigans. It's kind of like you said, it's a bad culture. It's kind of like a school where they don't mark you off for attendance.
Yeah.
Once the first person just not show up and see that there's no real penalty to it, why the hell would I come back? So now they say, hey, if you want to get this grade to get, whatever, you got to at least show up for this many days. And watch them go straight up to that line. 65th game. 65th game. I made it. Now give me my first team all NBA now. Yeah, you're going to see that. But that's why I say I don't think this is enough. You know what I'm saying? But they do have to leave some window for some guys that legitimately got injured. But I think they should make, situations for that. Somebody that clearly had a high ankle sprain. Everybody saw it. There should be, some of those things. But again, who's on these boards? Who's making these decisions on injuries? It's a little too vague for me. I don't like that. So we'll see how it works. So
I'm hoping that it works because I want to love this. I want to love the league again. I do.
Good luck.
I do. I say that sincerely. I want to love the league again, but I have really, it's become third for me, and I get geeked up for NFL and college football, and then NBA is like,
yeah, dude.
Because I consume, because I like to consume sports, and I do love, I'm never gonna not love it per se.
I hear you.
I'm still gonna watch, of course, but in terms of how enthusiastic I am about it, it's eroded over the years. It honestly has, and it's because of crap like this. These dudes are they talk about diva wide receivers in the NFL, and not people like AJ Brown and back in the day, people like T.O. and Randy Moss, they might have been a little obnoxious from time to time, but damn it, at least they were going to be in every game unless they were hurt.
Exactly.
And these dudes in the NBA, it's like I remember when I first saw, I remember where I was in my apartment in Tallahassee the first time I saw something that said DNP rest. And I looked at that and I said, whoa, hold up. So this guy's not hurt. He's 100% healthy. He's just not playing in the game because he wants to rest. I was so confused by it. I was more confused than upset because I didn't even know what that meant. And then you started seeing it more and more, and these guys are just on the sidelines in street clothes. It's atrocious. And I remember you brought up Zion. I remember when I saw when Zion gave those quotes, I said, what? Yeah. So you're not playing because what does I don't feel like Zion mean? What does that mean? So you're healthy, but you don't want to, you're not playing because you don't feel like Zion, and the organization is just okay with paying you this contract and letting you get away with this? Like the placation that is going on in the NBA is beyond the pale. They're just letting these guys do whatever the hell they want, and it's ruining it. It's making it worse.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's disgusting. It is. It's disgusting. I hope it works.
I'm saying that, the NBA season is long and stuff like that. And, as you get older, 26, 27, the body ain't as resilient as it used to be when you was a kid. But come on, bro. It's just basketball. And so like I said, if it's not your knee, your ankle, or your back or something like that, then why aren't you playing, bro? Like football, that's real injuries, dude. And some of those guys get banged every game, and some of those dudes play all 16, So It's like, nah, bro, y'all out there just tipping the ball off and shooting threes. So go sit down, man. I'm sounding like, get off my lawn.
Yeah. But it's true. It's true. Like, I'm sorry, but it's true. You can call me old if you want to.
Yeah,
I
get
don't
off
give
my
a damn.
lawn.
It's true. It's true. Like, just play, man. Like, just play. Even if you want to get out there on the court and chuck your threes and get a few assists and rebounds and you contributed to the outcome of the game, win or lose, but you played like Kobe with the flu game. Kobe wasn't out there trying to drop 50. He was sick, but he played in the game because he wanted to do what he could. And it seems like that sensibility is lost. It's like we got 60 more, so I ain't tripping. Like, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I really don't. But to each their own. I just hope that this thing works. And if it doesn't work, like I said, at least they can get DQ from winning those trophies, and at least it's punitive in some kind of way. So,
Good luck.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Good luck, man.
Oh man, it's crazy. All right, so now we are going to talk about what is being dubbed as Cheesecake Factory Girl.
Yeah, just Cheesecake Factory Girl.
So Cheesecake Factory Girl is going viral because she went live on TikTok over her displeasure because her date was taking her to the Cheesecake Factory. She feels as though she is above being taken to the Cheesecake Factory. She got too cute and she looks too good and she's too, frankly, special to be taken to the Cheesecake Factory on a first date. So we're not talking about, this is the third, fourth, fifth, whatever. This is the first date, right? And she feels some type of way because homie wanted to take her to the Cheesecake Factory. So obviously, toxic mentalities are something that we like to touch on this channel from time to time. So we'll spare no expense here in this regard. So we will play this and then we will provide our commentary afterwards.
Wow.
Let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this phone. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you?
Look.
Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this?
Girl, please.
I'm going to talk about it, even in front of them.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about it. Yeah, come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
That Waffle House, look. She mad about cheesecake.
Okay. So
yes, let's talk about it. About it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date? Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself.
That's about it right there.
To respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman.
All right, that's enough.
Hey man, look, bro.
That is most certainly enough. Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you like this. And you posed to me, hey, what's going on here? Is this real? Like, as far as the streets are concerned, this is real. Now, but I'm also reserved the fact that hold out that this is some type of elaborate Applebee's commercial. But the point remains that if there really are people in the world as this, I'm doom and gloom while you're over there, Mr. Optimistic. I like to see you be cautiously optimistic about this, sir. But
no.
but I'm picking up the gloom and doom stick in the context of I really hope this is not real, because if there's people walking around that really feel this way, that they feel like they too good for a restaurant, social media has worked. Social media and these housewife shows and stuff like that, they have really crept through the minds of these people. I'm too good for Cheesecake Factory. Surprise. But you know why? Because they food ain't good. So it's like, I don't eat nowhere where I can cook better than them. Man, hey, yo, try my chicken parmesan. I'm blowing theirs out the water. So I'm not going to eat there. This girl here, she can't cook noodles. She burn water. So she's sitting here talking about something. She's too good. She's too good to go to Cheesecake Factory. But like I said, this girl, look at her face. This Waffle House, Outback, if she lucky. So I don't really buy this. I hope this is not real. But if this is real, fellas, the only thing you can do is leave her in that parking lot. All right. Well, figuratively, well, maybe even literally. How do you feel about this, man? Do you agree, or how do you feel like a woman should be courted at a better restaurant than Cheesecake, or should she just be grateful for the experience?
Well, first of all, she is confusing courting with an expensive date. Those two things are different. You can be courted. Yeah, you can be courted and taken to McDonald's. So she needs to understand the definition of some of these words that she's using. Furthermore, when I first watched this, the reason why I asked if it was fake is because if I was that guy, the first thing that I would have done was I would have told her to put her phone down. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be an actor in your social media live video,
right,
to all of your followers looking like a court jester. You need to put that phone down so that we're going to have this conversation in private. So, right. But again, I'm 30 plus. So maybe this is some new human stuff where if someone is live streaming something, you just let it ride. Maybe that's a thing now. I don't know. It ain't with me, because you putting that damn phone down. I don't give a damn. So that's what had me questioning whether it's real or not. But see, this is the type of chick that I was thinking in my mind when I was giving my thoughts when we did the Sexyy Red topic. This is the kind of woman that I'm thinking about. She's the kind of chick who puts a certain kind of energy out into the world, and she attracts a certain kind of man, and that man might be willing to take her to wherever she wants to go when it comes to a date situation. But trust and believe that guy is going to run roughshod on her. And then when that situation is over, she is going to lament about how all men are trash. Well, all of your men are trash because you put out trash energy into the universe, ma'am. So you get what you deserve in that regard. So this dude, if this is real, and again, I don't know if it is. I'm operating under the impression that it is. For the sake of this video, I'm assuming it is, because it very well may not be. I don't know what's real and what's fake in this world anymore, frankly. I really don't. But for the purposes of this video, I'm operating under the impression that this is real. And if this is real, that guy clearly isn't cut from that cloth. Now, he's a better man than me, because I would have called her an Uber and had an Uber pick
right. Like
I would not have driven her back home.
No.
Like this date is over immediately, and I'm not even taking you home. Because your priorities are all screwed up. I don't know what kind of guys you're accustomed to, but whatever it is, it's not me. So you can keep putting that trash energy into the universe, because when you put that trash energy into the universe, you get trash back. And it's chicks like this who will exchange being abused and taken advantage of for being able to say, he took me to a 5-star restaurant and paid $500 on our date. She will exchange that happily because to her, she can equate her self-worth to how much money a guy is willing to spend on this date. And it really, it's not even about the money, because you can spend a grip in Cheesecake Factory. Trust me.
Yes, you can.
You can spend a grip in Cheesecake Factory. So for her, it ain't even about where they were going. I mean, rather, for her, it ain't about the money being spent. It's about where they're going and how that makes her feel where they're going. And chicks like this will exchange that feeling for getting abused in various respects. Mentally, emotionally, psychologically. I'm not going to go so far as physically. We're not going to go that far because that's a bit dark. But chicks like that will exchange happily being taken on dates like that, what she wants, for having a guy who's going to run through them. She will. And then after the guys run through her, because that's the kind of energy that she's putting out into the universe, she'll talk about how that's a referendum on all men. No, ma'am, you're just trash, and you put trash energy into the universe, and so you get trash in return. Buddy's better than me. I wouldn't have taken her home. I would have left her in the parking lot, because if you're tough enough to talk that way and you got it like that and you're beautiful and you get courted, you can get courted by someone else who's willing to take you home.
Exactly. Good luck with the Uber driver. And by the way, and like you said, bro, they'll subjugate themselves to any damn thing. Now, I done seen some videos where some women let men treat their face like a porta potty just for a few $1,000s. So these, and then they'll get on Instagram with their new bag and their new sewing, thinking that they better than me, while they just had to ingest somebody else's excrement. So please, all you type of new age weirdos, stay in the freak show, all right? And yeah, man, I don't know what's up with bro. Like you said, he better than me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as that camera came out and I'm seeing that a spectacle is being made, she was gonna get a show. so hey, try it if you want, shout. You're gonna be in trouble. Yeah. You're gonna be a meme for real.
Yeah. This ain't gonna be no peace transaction. I don't know what you got going on, thinking that you're just gonna disrespect me in front of people in public like that. I don't give a damn. You putting that phone down, or this is gonna turn into a situation.
2023, man.
Yeah,
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it don't get no weirder than this. It really don't. She probably listened to Sexyy Red.
Suki Hana.
Shouts out to Cheesecake Factory girl, man. You can miss me with that bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she deserves to be, Chili's and Applebee's. That's your lane.
Waffle House.
Right. And if it's your birthday, we'll go to Longhorn.
If you're lucky. Sheesh.
Oh man, Shay.
I'm gonna laugh at that picture forever, bro.
Shay. What's that? That's the Urkel doll. Oh my God. Shouts out to Shay, man. We gonna get right into this. So Shannon Sharpe was getting roasted because he was looking like he was looking crazy on the episode of First Take One Day. I don't know what he had going on with these glistening lips. Looked like he ate a bucket of KFC right out the grease. I don't know what he had going on, but he did offer up an explanation as to why he was looking so shiny and glistening on the Ocho Cinco's new show Nightcap. So here's Shannon Sharpe's explanation for why he was looking so glistening on First Take that day.
Oh man. That shit caught me off guard.
I'm gonna tell you why you was trending, but go ahead and finish.
Today, this lady added some makeup that I don't normally wear.
Right.
And I'm a dark-skinned fella. Make a long story short, I'm black. It ain't no dark skin, I'm black.
Yeah, that you are.
Yeah. I leave fingerprints on charcoal. So, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm with you.
And so she put on a little heavy.
Whoa.
Little heavy. Give it, Benjamin, give me that.
Listen, I saw the jokes about you looking like Medea, Joanna Man.
Yeah, they killing me today. It's like she took a butter knife and spread that thing on your boy's face. Yeah, your boy was out there kind of bad today. Your boy was out there kind of bad today. I ain't gonna even lie. Man, she had my lips like they pulling on a tailpipe. Man, I like, I looked at her like, well, damn, hold on. I don't smoke them miles like that no more. I say, man, why she got my lips like I've been smoking on a tailpipe?
Ocho. Oh, bro, that shit's so trippy, bro.
Bro,
no, check me out. So I'm scrolling yesterday, and I see it was like, bro, what's up? What Shannon got going on? And they just show him why he was just sitting there waiting to talk, looking like that, and then he started talking. I'm like, bro, you got on the full set. You know what I'm saying? What them girls say, like a face beat. He got his face beat. At what point, bro? It's kind of like when a barber, you know what I'm saying? He trying to get you right, and then it's like, oh shit, and he do the oh shit, and then he back in the same area. It's like, bro, you doing a lot of cleaning up over here. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you get out the chair, he done took you back an inch. So at what point, when she was coming through with the fifth layer, because she had to lay foundation for this, she went full Beyonce mode on this man's face. He ready to perform on somebody catwalk. So this here was absolutely ridiculous. I thought it was just him coming out. I thought it was going to be his new look. You know what I'm saying? Because if you've seen him hanging out with his stylist, this is right up his alley. You know, with his little poodle and his little fur flashy coats. I thought this was right up his alley of, hey, this is the new Shannon, y'all. Like, get used to it because he's, you know what I'm saying? Hear him roar. So, hey, man, this shit here, wow, bro. I thought it was 2023 shit. But to hear him come out and say, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? She just took my tape back a little too far. You know what I'm saying? I can't buy that, Shannon. I'm sorry. At some point, you should have known that she was putting on foundation, lipstick. I mean, to get that shade of purple on your lips, bro, she had to come in with a few types of things, bro. I done seen my old lady put stuff on in the mirror, bro. To get your face looking like that took a while. That's longer than usual. So you should have been pulled a plug on that one, bro. So how do you feel about this situation, bro? With Shay, all right, out here looking, sheesh, looking like he ready to do something. I don't know what.
Hey man. Shouts out to I Am Social. He tuned in on the chat. He said had buddy looking like Randy Jackson. And that's hilarious. That's a callback to I remember Chris Rock joke talking about Tito. I think said that Tito just glistening, just shining, just real glistening. I think that was back in like Bigger and Blacker from 1988 when Chris Rock was going in on Tito Jackson, I believe. So he said the makeup artist wanted to try a makeup that he doesn't normally wear. Right away, that's red flag number one.
Right.
Like, if you have never done this before, don't get on national television with it for the first time. You need to test this thing out first and see how that looks before you get on the national television. So right away, that was your fatal critical error with that, Shay. So you tripping, bro. I always felt like you had your wits with you a little more than that. Because if someone says this is the first thing and I just want to try it, you're not experimenting with me on national television.
Nah.
We finna try this out in private first. So that right there was already his critical error. But here's the thing with Shannon Sharp, though. He can parlay this into something that works for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like as you said, 2023, new human, weirdo, however you want to characterize it. Last week, or was that 2 weeks ago, we talked about Jimmy Butler and how his emo look. You know, he came out there with his emo thing, and now that look is on his, on all of his, whenever you see a photo of Jimmy Butler for the 2023-24 season and it shows him on a graphic or a highlight, that's what you're going to see. And he did that on purpose. And it galvanized enough of a conversation around it that it's probably going to work to Jimmy Butler's favor in some kind of way, albeit making him look emasculated, in my opinion. So with Shannon Sharp, you know, if this keeps going and he keeps getting clowned and memed on the internet, all he has to do is just try and parlay it somehow into this being his emo thing. Yeah, man. I got the glistening lips, and I wear the lipstick or the lip gloss or whatever that is, and I got the foundation on my face. Hey, man, I'm emo Shannon Sharp, and these new human people and this new media stuff, they'll eat it right on up. So every cloud has a silver lining. Hey, man. Listen, man. You on national television every day. Don't let nobody experiment. Like, if it's something that you've been doing and so you know how it's going to look, that's one thing. But for it to be a new thing that was being tried and experimented on, and you just went with it, and then you get in front of a camera on ESPN, not the smartest thing in the world. So I feel like, you know, if he ain't about that life, he learned his lesson. But for all we know, perhaps he is about that life. Either way, he can parlay this into his new emo thing or his new image, and he'll get some weird endorsement or some kind of deal or partnership. Somebody will sponsor he'll get a new sponsor to his podcast or something like that will come out of it. They'll make some kind of, I can see it now, the Shannon Sharp emoji. And you can have the Shannon emoji with the glistening lips. And you can text the Shannon emoji or some crap like that, the way this crazy world works nowadays. But yeah, I'm with you. He should have checked that before he got in front of that camera. That's on him. And hopefully he learned his lesson.
He done went from Big Unc, from Uncle Shannon to Auntie Shay Shay, and and one day it didn't take long at all, boy. He looked like a lesbian auntie. That's what he looked like right now. Yeah, at the family reunion.
All that's missing is for him to say game blouses. That's all that's missing. That's all that's missing. Because his lips is as shiny as Chappelle on that Prince skit.
He just missing the wig.
Yeah, that's literally that's it. That's all he missing. Game blouses. Man. That's all we got. That's all he missing.
Shannon's providing the laughs lately, man. So hey, man, whatever, bro. Do your thing, man. You're providing the content here at The Approach, though.
Yeah, shouts out to Shay Shay, man. One of the few guys who is into lifting and don't put nothing crazy in his body. He's an all-natural guy. So I do respect that at least. Because most of these dudes out here who be doing this working out stuff, they're not natural.
They be bulking on that balcony.
Yeah. Shay Shay is naturally brolic. So I respect that at least. But yeah, try something else, Shay Shay. This one ain't it. And lastly, we are going to get into this
interesting
San Diego Freudian slip, not San Diego Chargers, LA Chargers super fan who was all over the cameras last night during the Monday Night Football game. We thought this was kind of, I definitely thought that it was weird.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, I honestly don't know what's real and what's fake in this world anymore. So I don't know what is just organically done and what's being done for performance sake or production. I honestly can no longer tell the difference.
Yeah, you're right.
But nevertheless, we thought that this was funny because it stuck out to both of us. Like during the Monday Night Football game, October 16th, the Chargers against the Cowboys, the camera kept cutting to this woman who's a fan of the Chargers, clearly. And, people were wondering, why the hell does the camera keep looking at this chick? Or is she special? Is she significant in some kind of way? And so the questions then arise, is she some kind of plant? Like, what's the deal with this? So she, 2023, somehow got featured on the Pat McAfee show. I don't get how this stuff works, but she ended up on the Pat McAfee show the very next day. And this was an excerpt from her participation on the Pat McAfee show.
Marion, there's some skeptical people out there, a couple in the studio. I won't name names.
Darius Butler, Anthony DeGilio.
Hi, Marion. Marion, were you offended by when people like this said, hey, she's a plant, she's working for the NFL, she's a robot, she's an alien, this can't be real, no one's that passionate?
You know what? I wish I was getting paid. I wish I could make myself AI and as beautiful as I want, but at the end of the day, this is me, guys. This is me. Crazy mama 4, crazy Chargers fan, crazy freaking football fan. And it is what it is. I'm not
What do you like
offended.
at your kids' games? Do your kids play sports? What do you cheer like that? at
Oh
the game?
gosh, if you ever get in touch, all the moms are texting me. They're like, "Why are people saying you're fake? Because this is how you're at flag football. This is how you are when you're at soccer. This is the basketball finals. This is you." And I guess my poor kids have to deal with this every day. But now it's crazy. It's overwhelming that the whole world thinks this is so different because this is my kids have had to deal with this all their lives.
Marianne, this is awesome. It's so awesome that people think it's a fake. That's what the world is that we're in.
Yeah.
We appreciate you joining us and explaining all this stuff.
I don't know.
Damn right, McAfee.
Yeah, I still think it's fake.
You're damn right. The world thinks it's fake, McAfee. But
Hey.
yeah, I thought that it was weird. What about you?
Yeah, I when I'm sitting there watching the game, you know what I'm saying? That ugly ass game where all the unders were hitting. Said about that. But yeah, as I'm sitting there watching that game, I saw her because first of all, if you've ever been to a live game before, the cameraman, he does a magnificent job. I don't know who's up there working, but they find the most wackiest fans all the time and put them up on the jumbotron. So same thing goes with actual TV. Like you'll find the fans that are really like shocked when a shocking play happens, all that good stuff. So I thought this was part of that. What got me was they kept going back to her.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, why are you showing her again? You know, when I first saw her, I was like, damn, who acts like that? When she was, and I'm like, okay. I'm into it too. I got money on this. You know, I don't know what you got going on, but you know, she's, so I'm like, all right. But then when they showed her again, and when they scored a touchdown, I was like, okay, is this Taylor Swift? Because she getting as much airtime as Taylor Swift is in a crowd. So
Yeah.
the way I looked at it was much like most things with these corporations, they are opportunists. So whether this was the league setting this up, you know, just flat out from A to Z, maybe not, or this was a thing where they're like, hey, she fits. She's going crazy, or she don't normally goes crazy, her demographic, she's a woman, she's of Asian descent, and they're trying to grab international and women to say that, hey, women are into sports too. They're making a lot of demographic jumps. Now, I told you last time with the Travis Kelce and the other thing, you know what I'm saying, that they was doing that Toy Story thing. So they're really pushing the envelope on going viral, A, and B, just getting out there and cross promoting, because the guys are going to be there. They want more money and they want more dollars, and they want women to become football fans too, or just as much so, you know. And so what better way to show a small Asian woman, you know what I'm saying, who shouldn't know a lick about football, going absolutely hammer, more crazy than the people right next to her about football, because she's so passionate. So to me, it fits so many scripts. So whether it was the NFL seeing this as an opportunity to say, hey, free promo, or this was a situation where it was a straight up plant, either way, I feel like this is NFL shenanigans trying to, you know, find its way into different demographics. So me personally, I think it's BS. I think she is some type of Chargers influencer at this point. Hey, bro, just like that last girl, like, hey, man, she might be some weird goddamn Applebee's influencer, and that might have been some cockamamie stuff, just like how you said, and just like how Pat said, bro, nobody knows what's real right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to trust these large entities that got enough money to slang the people to do any damn thing. So yeah, this was a little wacky, man. It didn't sit right with me. So when the world and the streets, you know what I'm saying, was putting on their foil hats, I was like, oh, okay, so I wasn't the only person that found that a little suspicious. So how about you, man? How do you feel about the Charger fan going hammer sauce after a touchdown?
Well, if she wasn't a Chargers influencer before, she's certainly one now.
Yeah.
So it's like she's fulfilled that prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, regardless of whether she was before, she is one now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you end up on the Pat McAfee show the next day? Like, how do they get this stuff together so fast? Like, they must have DM'd her or something. Like, maybe the producers of the show found her social media and DM'd her. It's just the way that this stuff gets put together so quickly is what kind of amazes me. But it's interesting that you brought that angle up about appealing to a wide audience. I honestly didn't think of it that way, but it is worth considering, because I was thinking to myself as you were talking, if this was like white guy, would the camera have kept coming back to him over and over again if he was acting just as crazy as her? And I'm inclined to think that they wouldn't have. But Asian female, you're checking off 2 boxes simultaneously, women and minorities. So I kind of feel like, was she put there intentionally to stir this up? Perhaps not. But did the NFL seize upon this as an opportunity to position itself in an advantageous way? I don't put that past them. I don't put that past them at all. I don't think that that's beyond the pale whatsoever. And for the record, for all I know, maybe she does know a lot about football. I don't know the chick. I've met women throughout my lifetime who really are into it for real. They aren't just these fair weather fly by night people whose attention to sports is only contingent upon the guy they're dating, right? So we know there's a lot of women who are like that. If they're with a guy who likes sports, they'll pay attention. But if they're not with a guy who pays attention to sports, they could give 2 shits. So maybe she's not like that. Maybe she's a legitimate fan. I don't know her, and maybe she knows a lot about it. So all that can be fair. I'm not going to take that away from her. But it did strike me as odd that the camera kept going back to her. And I've watched NFL games my whole life. I've been watching this stuff since I was a baby, and that is not typical.
No.
And you're not gonna tell me that there are not screaming, raving lunatic fans at every NFL game, because there are. So what made her so unique that they felt the need to spotlight her in that way at the game? And that's why people are going to ask the question about her being a plant and whatnot. I'm not going to get too far into the weeds with whether she's a plant or not, but I will reasonably conclude at the very least that because of the demographics that she encompasses, that it became advantageous for the NFL to milk that for as much as they could during the game. I'll say that much. And I really don't think that is me being a conspiracy theorist. I think that that's a reasonable take. I don't think that if that was white heterosexual man, that the camera would have been going back and forth to this guy all night long. I don't. I think it was going back and forth to her because she's Asian female. And to each their own. The NFL, like you said, is opportunistic. They're for profit. They are a $1 billion corporation for a reason. Y'all think they care about all of this social justice shit. They don't. They will just capitalize upon it in order to make money. And y'all will fall for it because you can't think for yourself. But that's an aside, I guess. It's a conversation for another day. It was another thing that I was also going to say as well about this. But dang, I kind of forgot what it was. Maybe it'll come back to me. But yeah, that's pretty much how I looked at that one. Was she placed there, intentionally? No, I'm not gonna go that far. But yeah, did they look at that as an opportunity to milk it for? Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. There's this stat that goes around, and I don't even know if it's true or not, but I've heard it uttered enough from credible sources that 50% of NFL fans are women. I don't buy that. I don't know where they get, but I've heard it. I've heard that often enough in mainstream media from credible on shows and whatnot. Enough people are saying this, and I'm calling that into question. I find that very hard to believe that half of NFL fans are women. I do not buy that. I do not buy that. I don't think that is true. Okay, because if you want to extrapolate that to like smaller sample sizes, if I'm going to believe that half of NFL fans are women, then I'm going to believe that if I've met 30 women in my life, 15 of them have been fans of the NFL. And that is not true. I've been with, I don't know how many women I've been with. I got to sit there and count them out. Okay. But not a third of them were fans of the NFL. So I don't know where this stat comes from, but it's something that gets percolated into the ethos enough that people are believing that it's true. And so the NFL is aware of this. And so if they can use this as an opportunity to sort of reinforce this idea that so many women love the NFL too, that can add to the NFL trying to milk this for as much as they can. So is it a plant? I don't know if I'll go that far, but was the way that they did that intentional? Absolutely.
Yeah, the only women, I've had women that like football, that was around me, but I think, like you said, they was just watching it because I was watching it. And then they making comments about how they fit in their pants. I'm like, hey man, go in another room, man. Like you just ruined it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me put no women's volleyball on here. We're gonna have a ball. You know what I'm saying? Hey yo, put some tennis on. You know what I'm saying? Some track and field. What's up? Oh yeah. How you love that? But yeah, she making comments about how they look in their uniforms. Hey, it's like, hey, whatever. She don't care about their sport. And if it is 50%, I would hear a lot more talk.
I don't buy it.
And when I go to games, there are a lot of women and children there. It's more of a family thing. But I'm not saying that those women aren't into those games, but it's attached to the man. If it was 50%, we would see gangs of girls.
Yes.
Going to the game. So I'm not seeing that. I call cap on that. That might be some type of fake numbers that they're trying to get out there to try to, inception us, but I'm not buying that, bro. Sports are for the dudes. And I think that's why, well, not sports, but NFL. And I think that's why they're trying to incorporate the Swifties. And that's what I think this is about. I think they saw an opportunity here. And like you said, they immediately get on Pat McAfee. Like, how accessible this woman is. And there's a lot going on here. Yeah. And I think this is another marketing ploy. The NFL has been on fire, bro, with marketing this year. So don't put nothing past them for some other bogus stuff to be happening later on. So keep an eye out, man. The NFL has been real interesting this year. Very aggressive.
Yeah. They are definitely upping the ante. The NFL is a monster.
It is.
The NFL is a beast. Whenever I think that it can't get more popular, it just gets more popular. Somehow they figure out ways to get more popular. I feel like every new offseason, the anticipation for the next season is bigger than the anticipation for the previous year. Mm-hmm. And it's like, damn, how do we get here where every year it's like it's a bigger and bigger event than it was the year before? So they figured out the right formula for how to sell their stuff, for how to sell their product. And I just kind of think that they were capitalizing on this, but I do not buy that. And I've heard that a lot. There's no way 50% of NFL fans are women. I don't buy that. There's no way that that's true.
Agreed.
But be that as it may, good luck to this Charger woman. Charger influencer indeed, for sure.
Yeah, growing up a Chargers fan, that must be rough. So.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a Dolphin fan. So hey, I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah. So take that for what you will. Yeah. All right, great stream, man. We are going to go ahead and conclude for the night. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. My name is JV Wins, and that is the boy Dogon SS. Appreciate you for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are so inclined. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video. We certainly appreciate it. We do this to generate the dialogue. It's all for the love. So just let us know what you think, man. We certainly appreciate it. We do engage with comments so long as they are not of the troll variety. If you happen to be looking at this video on the Meta page, Facebook, whatever you like to call it, go ahead and leave a comment there. Follow the page, like the page as well. We certainly appreciate that. Follow Conscious Approach on Instagram at Con Approach. CONAPPROACH. You can also follow me on Instagram at JV Wins. Be on the lookout for Conscious Approach, the RSS feed, so that you can listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts. And trust me, we will not monetize that thing. So, it just provides you with another opportunity for you to be able to listen to all of our episodes. We certainly appreciate it if you are a fan of the channel. Until next time, go Dolphins, go Seminoles. We got a big game this week coming up against Duke, 7:30. Go Canes, even though they wet the bed this week.
Whatever, bro.
And until next time, we will catch you on the flip side.
Yo, skr. Hey, man, the name's Dogon SS, man. Hey, more rings than Robert Ory, bro. And Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. We appreciate all the new subscribers, man. Y'all been making it happen out here. We greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all know how important it is to us when y'all hit that like button. So keep it up, everybody. And as I say on every part, everybody, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player, and don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next time, everybody, we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Skirt, skirt.
That's right. That's right. We'll catch y'all later, man. So until then, we are out. Peace.
Peace. Go Canes, man. I don't care about these haters out here, man.
Wet the bed.
We